Welcome to the I Can't Do This podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Davis, and I am with
Garret Beadle.
Garret Beadle. Introduce yourself, man.
I'm a junior at Loyola, first base, pitcher, just all around utility guy. From Zachary, Louisiana, like right north of Baton Rouge. Live here in New Orleans. Go to school here. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What year are you?
I'm a junior.
You're a junior? That's kind of, yeah. So, we're just going to go through the mental aspect of baseball because a lot of people don't understand how difficult baseball really is on mentally.
Yeah.
And how much it drains you mentally.
Very much.
And before we go through that, though, I want to start with how you started with baseball. You've been playing your whole life?
Yeah, I mean, I started in like T-ball or whatever, and like I didn't really like it that much, and so I didn't really play until I was probably about 9 years old. I got back into it, and it was one of those things where my dad like made me play just because like I didn't really play any other sports, so he was like, "All right, you're gonna play baseball." It's like, "All right," and so I just kind of wrote it out and started off travel ball for the Legends. Shout out Legends and Zachary. But grew up with them, played a year with Traction in Baton Rouge, and then went to Zachary High School where I played 3 years because I transferred from another high school called Silliman Institute. But yeah, played at Zachary for 3 years and then came to Loyola.
You didn't play any other sports?
Nah. Well, later in high school, I ran track at the private school Silliman I went to. Then I played football there as well. But for Zachary, I just played baseball.
You just played baseball?
Yeah.
And how'd you get to Loyola? What was the recruiting for like?
Well, I only had a couple offers. Loyola and one other school out of high school, and I don't even think they were there looking at me, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, we were playing St. Paul's over in Mandeville, and I had like a really good game. Like went 4 for 4, caught a bunch of barrels, and then threw out a couple kids behind the plate, and then Coach Bruce hit me up and. The rest is history.
Coach Bruce.
Yeah, Coach
Dude,
Bruce.
I miss Coach Bruce.
Yeah, I miss him so
He
much.
was it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Well, so throughout your high school career, did you start on varsity? When did you get to varsity? At the freshman, sophomore?
I was on varsity 10th grade year. That was my
10th.
first year at Zachary. I was on varsity, and then I started a couple games junior year, but that was my COVID year.
Yeah.
So we got cut off like 10 games in.
Your COVID year was your junior year?
Yeah. Yeah. I felt bad, man, but yeah, it was bad.
So going through COVID, you came back your senior year, and how was your last year?
Oh, it was fabulous. I loved it so much.
Really?
Yeah. I was on the field every game. I was with my boys every day. Yeah. Catching, first base, back and forth between those two. But, yeah, I mean, it was a bunch of guys that I really liked, close with a lot of them still. I mean,
Yeah. And you got recruited to Loyola as
senior year.
as a catcher, too?
Yeah, as a catcher.
As a catcher.
Yeah. I don't even think they knew I played first base, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
And then we found out you throw, 90 across the infield?
Yeah. And now I'm a pitcher.
Yeah. Funny how that works. So with the topic of the mentality of baseball, coming in your freshman year, what were your thoughts of what baseball is going to be like in college?
I mean, I was kind of scared, but coming off my senior year in high school, I was kind of at that confidence high.
Yeah.
Because, you're in high school. Obviously, if you're getting recruited to college, you're one of the best guys on the team.
Right.
So it's one of those things where, I'm going to go in here, I'm going to show these guys what I'm about, I'm going to earn respect. That was the biggest thing, is earning all the older guys respect. Because I knew, COVID year, red shirts, there were going to be a bunch of old guys.
Yeah.
And, I mean, when I got to college, I was still 17. And so, it was kind of scary, but at the same time, my confidence overlooked that because of the season I had senior year. And so just the more I got into it, the more I knew how to I guess interact with the older guys, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I'd never been around people like that, but I mean, it was great. I mean, everybody took me in like I was their own. I mean, the rest is history. I mean,
yeah. See, that's the difference between me and you on that. I came to college at 17 too, but I went to a junior college.
Yeah.
And the mentality between junior college and NAIA is completely different.
I bet. I've heard stories.
Talking to the older guys at junior colleges, no one really cares about anybody at junior college. Everyone's just going to junior college and trying to get out.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
So no one's bringing people in, trying to help other people get better. It's all me.
Yeah.
And that's what I really enjoyed about coming to a 4-year school.
Yeah.
Was everyone's in it for each other.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's wanting you to do good, and when you do good, everyone's happy. Like no one's like, oh, me, right?
Yeah.
So coming in your freshman year, how was playing time for that?
I think I started around like 1/3 of the games my freshman year. Me and another freshman actually went at first base, and I took a little bit of catching reps, but I wasn't where I needed to be defensively. But yeah, I mean, it was great. I mean, the games I didn't start, I came off the bench as a pinch hitter late in games.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it because I love high pressure situations. I love having the game on my back, like in those stressful situations. Feel like I handle them well. So
Yeah. How do you handle those pressures?
I mean, like me and my roommate Tucker, we had this routine down. So like we'd chill and just joust the first half of the game. Then once the 6th inning hit, we'd get up, find a little snack, get some water, start getting our bodies ready. Then 7th inning, we'd start stretching, getting our backs loose, swinging the bat a little bit. And then once the 8th and 9th inning roll around, we were ready for our name to be called. And I mean, once it is called, you know you got to lock in. You got to know what the pitcher's doing. And it was good keeping charts like pitching tendencies and knowing what the pitcher liked to do in those certain counts. And I mean, you just retain that knowledge. And I mean, once you get on deck, it's you versus the guy you're facing at the end of the day. And I mean, you just got to get the job done. But I mean, the more you think about like having fun with it makes it easier for sure.
I will 100% agree with that. Because I know going, especially in a pinch hit situation, I don't think I could ever be like a true pinch hit guy. Because going in where you have to get a hit or you lose, it's like I would be nervous, bro. Like I would be shaking. No, it's hard to like keep your nerves down and being able to be in the moment. Like Coach K always says, being in the moment.
Yeah, that's all about it.
And I think that's a really good trait to have. Tucker's one of the best guys to do that too. No Every situation, you put him up in the batter's box, you know he's going to have a great at-bat.
Yeah.
And to be able to do that consistently is unreal. That's what I struggle with a lot, is having really consistent at-bats. And I think a lot of it is mental.
Oh, yeah.
Especially because if I don't swing at pitches outside of the zone, I walk 50% of the time, especially in NAIA where the pitchers aren't that great. But like to lay off sliders in the dirt, like this is the discipline part of baseball that I struggle with a lot. And if I just change that little thing, it changes everything.
Oh yeah, it's night and day for sure. I mean, it's just competitiveness at the end of the day, man. I mean, you got to go in the box thinking you're better than the other guy. And I mean, the result, you can't change the outcome of the AB, so you might as well just go into it and have fun and compete.
Yeah, another thing is you can't force something to happen.
Oh, yeah, nah.
You can't go up to the batter's box thinking, oh, I'm going to get a hit.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a hit. Yeah. And that's one of the problems that goes in when you have a slump. Because when you're in a slump, you're like, oh, coach is about to take me out of the game. I'm about to get benched if I don't get a hit right here. Yeah. And that's like the total wrong mindset to have.
I mean, we've all been there, though. That's tough.
Dude, I know. And how do you deal with slumps?
I mean, you got to find – I was thinking about it the other day. Like, you got to find the happy medium. Like, you can't be too confident and cocky. Yeah. Because then you won't perform well. You'll be trying to force things. And then you also can't be down on yourself, be like, oh, no, coach is going to pull me out. Because then once you get there, then you're not going to perform like you practice. Yeah. So you got to find that happy medium, and that's the toughest part about it. And that's why slumps are hard, because when you're not hitting good – your thoughts take you to a bad place. That's the hardest thing about playing a sport, is because you don't know what's right and you don't know what's wrong. You just know how you perform, and you can't let that performance affect how you perform in the future.
And that's what everybody sees too. It's the outcome, not what's like leading up to that outcome. No doubt. So like, say, because a lot of people don't know a lot about baseball unless you like actually like watch the game. Yeah. So they say, "Oh, bro struck out 4 times today." Yeah. And it's like, "Dog, I really struck out 4 times." But they could have been amazing at bats and still 4 strikeouts. Or they could have been you swing at 3 pitches and you're out every 4 times. Yeah. But I think the outcome is very much of you shouldn't really think about it that much. Yeah. And that's why I hate that a lot of people put so much emphasis on stats, because a guy hitting 350 with a lot of bloopers is so much different from a guy hitting 285 but with like everything's shot right. Yeah. And it's like who you gonna trust more, the guy that gets a lot of bloopers or the guy that hits the ball hard, Yeah,
for sure.
So I think that's like a huge thing. And with the going in and with at bats and stuff, like what's your approach to at bats?
Mentally or physically?
Mentally,
we're gonna go with I mean, like I said earlier, you just got to get in there and compete. I've always been good at competing just because, like, you got to be able to clear your mind of all things. Like,
yeah.
sometimes when people talk about boys just zoning out and not thinking about anything, that's what it is. I mean, you got to just go up there and not think about anything at all. I mean, most of the time, if I'm struggling to get a hit or find a barrel and hit the ball hard, I'll just tell myself to sit in my back leg and just react, because I have trust in the speed of my hands that I can get to any pitch. And then if I stay back, then I don't swing at the breaking balls in the dirt or anything like that. So it usually solves my issues that way. And then, like, more advanced way of putting it is, like, I'll try to put a fastball in the right center gap, because I'm a right-handed hitter. I'll try to put a fastball in the right center gap and then just try to react to off speed and either foul it off or just pull it.
Yeah.
So
that's good though. So your approach physically, what would that be like?
I mean, you got to keep the same routine to the plate every time.
Yeah.
You can't get outside of your physical being, I guess you could say, because I'm not a guy that hits home runs at all. So I mean, I'm good at driving the balls in the gaps. So I mean, I keep the same routine every time, and I know what I need to do with the ball. Like, if I have a fastball on the outer part of the plate, I'm just gonna try to take it and put it in the right center gap for a double.
Do you guess pitch? Do you go with the count? Do you say, oh, a fastball is coming at this point?
I mean, it depends on the pitch. I mean, the pitcher, like, freshman year, like, you get a bunch of fastballs because somebody knows who you are. So, like, 2-0 count, I'm sitting fastball. I'm trying to put it either down the line left field or in the left center gap for sure. But this past fall was eye-opening because I saw way more breaking balls than I ever have before. And I struggled for a little bit. But at some point, you just got to let your athletic ability take over and just trust the process, trust what you worked on.
Yeah, that's good, because me personally, man, my approach is dog water.
Yeah.
Because it's so much of – I try to sit fastball and react to the off speed.
Yeah.
But it gets to the point where you can't just sit fastball every single pitch, because you're not going to get a fastball every single pitch.
Yeah.
And being able to make the in-game adjustment of, oh, a curveball might be coming here, or not swinging at the slider because I'm sitting fastball every single pitch. And the other team will obviously see that, and they'll say, buddy's swinging at sliders in the dirt every time because he thinks it's a fastball, and he's going to keep pelting it in the dirt. And it's like, if you don't make that adjustment, then you're not going to get to, like, the level you want to be at.
Yeah, it's tough because, I mean, now they got – I mean, I've played a season, didn't play last year, but now they got charts on me. Like, they know what I'm good at. They know what I'm not good at, so they're going to try to expose me.
And that's why the game of baseball is so freaking hard.
Yeah, man, it's difficult.
Because after everyone knows what you're terrible at, that's what's going to throw you all the time.
No doubt.
And you have to become good at what you're bad at.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is just ridiculous to me.
The quote that I heard in high school that's always stuck with me is, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah,
that's
like
so that's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why that stick with you? What does that mean to you?
I mean, like, even, like, it translates to life. Like, if you have to move away for a job, or, like, if you have this opportunity you should take, I mean, if you're scared of it and you don't do it, you'll never know if you succeed at it, because it's uncomfortable outside your box.
Yeah.
But I try to do things that are uncomfortable, because the more you start doing those uncomfortable things, the better you get at them.
Right.
And you'll never be perfect at them, because, I mean, that's life. I mean, you can't be perfect in any way.
Mm-hmm.
But the more you do those uncomfortable things, the more you can be better at being comfortable. And I think that's a huge thing in athletics and even life.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's because I know in sports you are uncomfortable a lot.
All the time.
Because you're always in positions where it's high stakes, or everyone's watching me.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I got to do good. My family's in the stands. Yeah. I got to do good. My girlfriend's in the stands. Yeah. Like, all these, like, what are they going to think about me if I strike out 3 times today? Yeah. And to deal with that, it's just like, you can't worry about it.
Yeah, man. I mean, we've all been there. You just got to kind of do what you do.
Yeah, you just got to you got to do what you do. So, speaking of that, when you do perform badly in a game, or you're in a slump or whatever, I know for me it gets really bad when I'm in a slump for a couple of weeks and I leave baseball and I bring it home with me and I'm pissed. I'm like at home and I'm pissed. Yeah. And I'm like, why can't I get any better? And that comes with even I'll practice on my own and still won't feel like I got any better. Like, I'm doing all these steps and not seeing the outcome of it.
Yeah.
And it's really hard for me to deal with that because a lot of people put a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
And dealing with expectations of why don't you have 60 stolen bags this year? Why are you striking out every at bat and stuff like that? And I'm coming home and it's like, wow, why don't I have 60 bags? Like what am I doing wrong? And I feel like I'm putting in so much work to achieve a goal and I'm not achieving it.
Yeah.
And that's where I got a lot better this past year with that. But it was hard, especially going through JUCO.
Yeah.
Because I went to JUCO, and the JUCO coach, when I got there, told me that I should stay at that school for a year, 2 years, and get drafted out of there easily. And when I heard that, it was like, oh, for real? Like, dang. So that's already that's the first expectation that my coach told me.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, you can get picked up easily. I'm like, oh, snap. I'm supposed to get drafted, like, for real.
Yeah.
And then when that doesn't happen, it's like, oh man, do I suck? Like I must suck for real because why am I not getting drafted? Why am I not like All-American? Why am I not doing this?
Yeah.
And that destroyed my game.
Yeah.
That brought me to where I would come to practice and be miserable. Like, oh, I'm just gonna perform bad today. So why am I even here? Why should I even practice? Why should I even like try to get better? And it took the love of baseball out of me for a long time.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean, we all feel like that. I mean, everybody gets to the field at some point in their career and they think those same exact things. Like even the bigs probably.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's no way you can't think those things. I mean, everybody thinks those. But I think one of the best ways to deal with it would be to not bring it home, honestly, because I mean, it's hard to separate the two lives. I mean, it's kind of like you're living alternate personalities. I mean, you have an athletic personality, then you got to come home and have friends, school, family. Like, you got to separate those things. And I think that's one of the biggest things I've learned in the past year, like you're saying, is like just separating those two. Like, if I had a bad day at the field, like, come home and then be like, it's all right. Like,
it's all right.
Doesn't matter.
It's all good. It doesn't. That's the thing.
Doesn't.
It does not.
Yeah.
And that's what kills me about, like, these little league games or high school players when they like play a bad game. It's like, bro, like that, like next week in a month, that game will not matter.
Yeah, you won't remember.
You won't. And I don't know why it's so hard to like let go of it, you know?
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of that, dealing with success.
Yeah.
Because that too is like, I get like a little high when I get success high, right?
No doubt.
And I go, 2 for 4, 3 for 4 in a series, right? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm him. Like I'm like the best player ever. Like the ball is a beach ball.
Yeah.
And learning to stay humble throughout that process, it can be very difficult too.
For sure.
I don't know if you'd ever dealt with that or whatever.
But I mean, like pinch hitting, like I said.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you're gonna deal with more failure than success pinch hitting. But I think starting those 1/3 of the games that I did freshman year definitely helped me deal with the success part. Because I mean, I was doing pretty well until I started pinch hitting. Then once I started pinch hitting and having failure, I had to learn how to deal with the failure. Then once you deal with the failure, then you start having success. Well, how do you deal with that? You gotta learn how to dial it back and remember the times you failed.
Right.
Remember how you felt when you failed. And I mean, going into the box, in the back of your mind, you've had success before. So you can do it again, no doubt. So you just got to be able to keep that mindset in the happy medium of failure and success. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, I think, 'Cause I know Coach K was saying, because baseball's on like, say it's like a wavelength or whatever, it's ups and downs, right? Yeah. You want to try to stay on a constant line instead
easier
of going up and down.
Though.
Way easier said than done. He tells me that every single year. He's like, dude, when you're hot, you're freaking hot, bro. But when you suck, you freaking suck, bro. And he's like, we need to figure out how you can stay right here the entire time, mentally and physically.
For sure.
Because, baseball is a game of consistency.
Yeah.
And, especially because of how much failure you have in it. Because you hit, 300 and you're considered amazing in the pros. Yeah. There's no other sport that's like that.
A lot of failure.
You throw 30% freaking interceptions. You're not playing quarterback, bro. But you get 30% hits and you're considered one of the best. Yeah. It's a lot of failure.
Yeah, that's one of the things that blows my mind is like the difference between I may be like saying it wrong, but the difference between I feel MLB players and like NAI players is the consistency of it. Like Acuna can hit 70 home runs at 400 plus feet. well, I might be able to do that one day in March, but I can't do it every game. So, like, that's the biggest difference, in my opinion, is just being able to do that over and over and over.
Is the consistency.
Yeah.
And I don't understand how people do that consistently.
Yeah, me.
Because there's no shot. You're especially seeing all these different pitches, bro.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy.
A fastball that moves. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm seeing a 94 miles per hour that's coming into my hand.
Yeah.
How do you expect me to get around on that, bro?
Know. I mean, that's when it comes down to just luckiness, like genetics.
Yeah, right.
You just got to get lucky.
Right. And another thing that I know Coach K says a lot, it's preparation. As in, what are you doing outside of the game to prepare yourself for the game?
Yeah.
Where it's like you can't think about what you're doing during the game, right? Yeah. You have to rely on what you've done at practice or what all this other stuff. Yeah, and I think that's another thing that I mess up on too. I'm like, oh, I swung through a pitch, right? And it's like, oh, I got to keep my shoulder down. Yeah. And it's like, oh, I can't think like that, bro. You have to swing. Yeah. And it's just because it's so much thinking that you do in baseball, but so much non-thinking that you can't do either.
And that's one of the hardest things, is because like I'm like an overthinking person.
Yeah.
It's like back to the pinch hitting. Like once it got toward the end of the season, I knew I was gonna probably pinch hit that day. Mm-hmm. So like if we have a game at 6 p.m., I wake up, be like, oh, I'm probably not playing today, but I know I'm gonna get a pinch hit,
right?
And I'm gonna see a max of 5-6 pitches today. And I mean, what am I going to do with those 5 or 6 pitches? And you can't think like that, because then you start making the situation bigger than it needs to be. Mm-hmm. So you just got to kind of keep it at the level of, I'm just going out there with my boys and having fun. And I mean, if I fail, they'll be there. If I have success, they'll be there at the end of the day.
That's what you said, that having fun. That's what changed my entire mindset this past year. So last year was my 5th year, right? Mm-hmm. I got my undergrad, graduated last year. And I thought last year was my last year. Like, I was going to the season thinking this is it. Yeah. So this is the first time ever in my career where I was like, my path ends in 4 or 5 months. Yeah. And it was like, I'm not even thinking about what's happening after baseball. Like, I'm just here to have fun at this point. Yeah. And I had one of my best seasons ever, right? Yeah. And it's like, really? Like, I had fun and I played well? Yeah. And it's crazy how much changing that part of your game actually changes your game.
And I mean, that's something that I kind of tried to do better this year, because last year I didn't play because I had to get shoulder surgery, tore my labrum. And I mean, not being able to play and like watching you guys out there compete and have fun, like it stung to an extent, because I couldn't be out there with y'all doing it, but like happy because y'all got to, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, coming into this year, like, am I going to be salty that I didn't get to play last year? And am I going to be thankful that I have still 2 more years, which is a long time when you're actually doing it. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you just got to enjoy every minute of it, because I mean, after these 2 years, I have 60 years of work, and just I don't even know what I'm going to do after that. Right. So, I mean, might as well enjoy the 2 where I get to do something I love every day with my boys.
Talk about how you tore your labrum.
Yeah.
How'd that happen?
About this time last year, first practice of the spring, man, we were base running. We were doing like steal breaks from first base. And I remember who was in my group too. It was me, Ryan Similari, and Kason Collins. And we ran, and I got to second base and like broke down, and my foot clipped the bag. I don't know if you knew this, but like the day before, 2 days before, I cut my finger open and had to get stitches.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I had my finger wrapped. So back to the bag, when I clipped the bag, I flew up in the air and I had my hands out, then remembered my hand had stitches in it, turned to the side, fell on my shoulder, dislocated it, and tore my labrum.
That's on the first day of practice.
First day of practice. Literally like the first rep of the year.
Literally what it had to be. Yeah. Tripped on a bag and tore his. That's crazy. So unfortunate, man. And I know you were pissed.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was one of those things where, like, I didn't know what a dislocated shoulder meant. Like, I didn't even know you could tear your labrum. So, like, my shoulder dislocated. The trainer put it back in place. I got up and was like, all right, let's go. Like, I thought I was good to roll.
Chill.
Yeah. And so, like, she pulled me back over, and she was moving it around and stuff. And then she told me to bring it up. And when I brought it to here, it slid back out in the dugout. We had to put it back into place. I mean, that's probably one of the top 2 most painful moments of my life right there. I mean, it sucked, man, for a while. I mean, I tried to play through it, but it got to the point where surgery was a better option.
Yeah. I mean, at least it wasn't your throwing arm, huh?
Yeah,
that would have
God.
been way worse.
Way worse. I'd probably just be getting back if it was my throwing arm.
Yeah,
it's a longer recovery for sure.
Man, so that happens, and what are you thinking like through the first 2 weeks?
I mean, man, I was going through it for sure because the first couple weeks I didn't practice or anything because I was letting it like set back into place or whatever. And I mean, I remember calling my dad because he's like the biggest motivator in my life, like the person I have closest to me when I turn to when I have a problem. And I mean, he was just like, man, you just got to keep playing, go out there, show support to your boys. He said, just be selfless. I mean, go out there, do what you can, show everybody that you're still in it for the team, obviously. And I mean, there's other ways to earn respect from the guys around you that isn't through success.
Oh, 100%.
Like if you see me on the bench doing a chart with one arm like propped up on my brace, I mean, you're gonna be like, dang, like he's getting after it, like even though he can't do anything else. I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things that helped me through it is knowing that I could still help the team out without playing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Because I know the dugout really does affect the people that are playing. Yeah. You know, having, especially in serious situations and people in the dugout aren't paying attention to the game or, you know, laughing and jumping or like whatever. Yeah. And it's like, dog, they really don't care about what's going on with the team and whatnot. And having people in the dugout that do care about my success, about the other people next to me's success, and having all of us care about each other's success, it just makes the team more, what's the word? Makes our relationship better with each other, trust each other better, and we actually can root for each other. That's one of the things in my JUCO. There was a guy on the team that everyone hated when he did good.
Really?
Everyone hated. He would get a base hit and they go, "Oh, he got another base."
That's crazy.
And I'm just like, that's crazy that people think about that with other people.
That's
like,
wild.
What do you mean? Like, when he like struck out, whatever. Like, that dude struck out, bro.
That's crazy.
And I would hate to be that guy that people would hate to have success, you know? And that goes off to the coach, too, because it's like, well, if everyone hates when this guy does good, why should he even be on the team?
Why should he even be here?
You know?
No doubt. I think that's one of the things that contributed last year a lot is just guys all together being on the bench. Like, we didn't get to where we wanted at the end of the year, but I think our brotherhood last year was definitely, like, one of the best I've ever been a part of. Yeah. And, I mean, back to what you were saying about the dugout being locked in, like, Coach was talking about at practice today, you got to be able to lock in and lock out this quick. Yeah. I mean, because, it is impossible to lock in for 8 hours straight through a doubleheader. Like, 16 innings is a long time. But you got to be able to go pitch to pitch and focus on every pitch. I remember freshman year, very vividly. We were facing an LSUS. We were facing Kevin Miranda was pitching on the mound, and Cason Cullens was leading off. And earlier that year, we played LSUS and faced the same guy on the mound. And I took the chart on his hitter tendencies. So I pulled the chart back out, went up to Cason. I was like, hey, he's going to go first pitch sinker right here. It's going to go into your back knee. So just be ready for it. Yeah. First pitch of the game, Cason hits a double into the right center gap, perfectly on time for it.
And that's just good having great teammates next to you. And maybe he doesn't do that without you telling him that, you know?
Yeah, you never know. I mean, you just got to have trust in your boys.
Especially against good pitching.
Oh, yeah.
Which I never really knew that either. Like, scouting reports matter. Yeah. Like, most of the time.
Big time.
Except when I'm on base, bro. You know, that makes me so upset because everyone's always like, again, why don't you have 60 bags, whatever? Yeah. And they come up to me saying, oh, hey, 2 looks at second base. Yeah. And they never follow the chart when I'm on second base. They're always doing something, bro. Yeah. And I'm just like, bro.
If we didn't have charts, you'd definitely have 60 bags in a year. That's for sure.
I know. And like, honestly, I don't even know if I like what's coming or not, for real. Because when I'm set on something specific, it's like when it's not that, I'm like, oh, what do I do? No. Because like when we have signing second base and he's like, off speed's here. Yeah. I'm like, oh crap. All right, an off speed's coming. And it's like not an off speed pitch. I'm like, no. Bro. Yeah. It's like, dang, I should have just never even looked at him. It used to
be pretty complicated. I get like that sometimes. Yeah.
I just get freaking domed up.
Yeah, I feel that.
So talk about one of like when you were like at your lowest and in your baseball career, I would say, and how you got out of that.
I mean, I'd have to say all of 2023 really, because I mean freshman year I had a lot of success, honestly, like in a egotistic way.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had a lot of success
Yeah.
for a freshman, made the all freshman team. I was feeling good about myself. Came in the fall of my sophomore year, which was the fall of 2022, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So fall of 2022, I was hitting, like I started getting some power, started hitting home runs in inter squads, was feeling good, was feeling faster, stronger. And then we come into the spring of 2023 and I injure myself. And it's like, dang, so where do I go from here?
Yeah.
And then those thoughts of, well, how am I going to be when I get back? Like, how do I need to approach this? Because, like, I'm a guy that's very eager to work. So then it was after I got my surgery in April, then May rolled around and I was recovering. And then once the summer hit and I didn't really have anybody watching me, I was living here in New Orleans with Kaysen and then some by myself. Like, I was probably doing some stuff I shouldn't have been doing. I was in the gym doing push-ups, like, a month after my surgery.
Really?
Yeah, which is probably not a smart idea, but, I mean, I was getting after it because, like, I didn't really know what to do to get back to where I needed to be.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, that was one of the hardest things.
It was frustrating because,
I didn't have any confidence. So that was definitely hard. And then, I mean, going through that was hard, not being able to play. And then later this past year, found out that my parents were getting separated.
No.
Yeah. And so that sucked pretty bad. And you kind of have to learn how to deal with, that's when it gets really important of separating athletics from
life. Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, well now my parents are separated. How does it make my siblings feel? Because I have two younger siblings and they're both in high school. So then I'm like, okay, well I need to be there for them. I'm also coming off of an injury. I need to focus on baseball. I need to focus on school to make sure that I'm still eligible for the year. And so I have all these things going on. And, I mean, you just have to find ways to just keep pushing through it because, I mean, that's the only option you really have is to keep going. You just got to keep rolling with the punches, man.
And how would you say that affected, like, the baseball part? Like, how'd you come back from that?
I mean, toward the beginning when I first found out the news about my parents, I mean, it was tough. I mean, every time I had failure at baseball, I'd just kind of go home and, like, wouldn't know what to think. Like, I'd go in my room or, like, in the shower, and I would, like, sometimes I'd feel sorry for myself. And, I mean, I know that's something that you can't do.
Right.
And, like, because I'm pretty, like, I try to pride myself in being strong-minded. And, like, I mean, I was feeling sorry for myself and all this and all that. And, I mean, like I said before, my dad was is one of the biggest supporters in my life. And, I mean, talking to him through that was sad for me because him motivating me in my life and helping me with my issues. Now it was my time to pay that back to him. And I mean, that's what gave me hope at the end of the day, was seeing how positive he could be throughout the situation, even though I knew it was horrible for him. But every day he'd call me. He'd be like, how was practice? How was this? How was that? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to go into baseball saying, like, man, like, it doesn't matter. Like, my success doesn't matter. At the end of the day, I'm still going to have my mom. I'm still going to have my dad. I'm still going to have my siblings and the friends around me. So, I mean, that's something you can't take for granted. And, I mean, yeah, man, I mean, it was just tough.
No, yeah, I completely understand that. Was not want to, like, get into your business, but was it something that was just dropped on you, or did they gradually say, oh, hey, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I heard from my dad, and I mean, they were fighting a little bit when I was in high school. And I mean, I knew it was kind of going on because, like, my sister would text me and stuff. Then one day my dad just texted me and said, hey, me and your mom are getting separated. And I'm pretty sure I read it, like, in the locker room after practice.
Really?
And I was just like, whoa. But it's not something that, like, I wanted to affect everyone around me.
Right.
So, like, I just kind of just kept rolling with the punches, trying to keep those two lives separate. And, I mean,
was it hard to do that?
I mean,
because I know you come to baseball and then you come out of baseball or whatever, and you're dealing with a lot of family issues that you weren't telling anybody about, and you're not with your family to talk to them really about it. Is that difficult to do?
I mean, it kind of was at first, but then you have to realize that I'm playing college baseball for a reason because it's what I love doing. It's my passion. So those from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock when we practice, that's my getaway from life. So that's the time I got to get away from it, not worry about it, hang out with my brothers. I mean, guys that I'll talk to for the rest of my life because of baseball. So, I mean, once I learned how to separate those two things, I mean, it got a lot easier, honestly. And I mean, just being there for my siblings gave me hope because it saw how mature I was as a person, as well as helping them be mature about the situation.
Yeah, that's good though.
Yeah, no
to
doubt.
be a good big brother through that.
Yeah.
And I was asking if he just dropped it on you because I know a lot of people do this or whatever. I know they still motivate other people when, like you said earlier, when everything is going crap in their life. And seeing someone in like that's really close to you, seeing someone go through all that and them still being like, hey, how's your day? How's everything going? Like that one, that shows that they really, really care about you. They really love you, right? And two, is showing that this one part of my life doesn't control everything in my life. Yeah. You know, and that's another thing you can think about with baseball. It's like, baseball isn't my entire life. Like you said earlier, you have so many things outside of baseball that you can't let affect you. Yeah. And you have so many things outside of baseball you can't let affect your baseball as well.
And that's what I learned through the injury and through that situation.
Yeah.
Is knowing that I do have hobbies outside of baseball. Like, I just bought an espresso machine. Like, I wake up in the morning and I like making coffee. Like, it's something I enjoy doing. Yeah. It's the little things in life that keep me going every day. Like, I enjoy hanging out with friends. I enjoy playing like Fortnite with my boys. Yeah. I mean, it's fun things that keep me going in life, you know? And I mean, you got to realize that outside of baseball, like, I have meaning as well. Even when I fail in baseball, I could succeed in something else that could matter the same or matter more.
100%. That's that's why my like couple years in college where I was miserable playing baseball is when I didn't have those things outside of baseball.
No doubt.
And that's one of the reasons why I started the podcast, because it was like, it's my last year, right? Yeah. And I wanted some way to document my last year of baseball, because I was like, if I just focus on baseball and trying to do X, Y, and Z, it's like I'm gonna be miserable because I need something outside my life, outside of baseball.
When you get older and you look back on it, you're not gonna be like, oh, I was good in college, or no, I was bad in college. Yeah. You're gonna be like, I had a great time.
I had a great time. Like I said, experience. Like if you suck, you can't control. Yeah. Like obviously you can practice all you want, but again, you can't control the outcome in baseball. No doubt. And it's such a skill set freaking sport, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like with basketball, you can go into the gym and shoot 100 threes every single day. Yeah. And once you figure out the right form to make a shot go in, you can be like, oh, I can just do that form all over and over and over and over and over, right? With baseball, it's like, if you hit a line drive somewhere, like, it was a line drive, but the swing could have been crap, right? And then you practice that crap swing over and over to hit that one line drive. And anything else is like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, really, bro? Like, I thought I was good for real, you know? And that's just one of the things that people don't understand about baseball, is how much skill you need for it.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, you can work all you want, but I mean, it gets tough at the end of the day. Like, this past fall, I mean, I worked my butt off, and I mean, I tried to work harder because I thought it would make me better. That's not
the case, bro. Oh my gosh, that's not the case.
Yeah, nah.
I broke down in JUCO one time because of that. Because I was like, because I wasn't the best hitter in JUCO, and this is the first time I've seen like really high level pitching, right? Because you got guys, everyone's throwing 90 plus with a slider and a sinker and stuff, right? And I sucked, right? And I would go to the batting cage like at night or whatever, and I would practice all the time and still suck. And it's like, if I can do everything in my power to try to get better at this game and still suck, like, what is the point of this, right? Yeah. And that's what took the fun out of it. That's what, again, my mind. Like, I broke down in JUCO ball, bro. I was like, why am I even playing baseball at this point?
Had plenty of those.
If I can't even, you know? Yeah. And then, oh, man, I'm sweating.
I mean, yeah, it gets tough, though. I mean, I've tried to – I was thinking about it the other day. Like, this past fall, like, I would stay before practice, get there like 2 hours before. Yeah. Hit field ground balls, stay after, field ground balls. And freshman year – I had class before practice. So I'd get out of class, roll up to practice, leave. Yeah. And so, like, seeing that I had success freshman year and then not success when I was working harder, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So now coming into this semester, you have to try to find the middle of that.
The middle, yeah. And it's always the middle. It's always the middle. Yeah, you can never be too high on each side. Yeah. Because you'll just get frustrated. That's why I find myself just frustrated. So like, why can't I do this? Like, oh my gosh. That's the name of the podcast, actually.
That's funny.
Oh man, that is funny. So coming to a close, where do you see yourself this year? So this is you're a junior right now, right?
Yeah, this is my 3rd year.
And you have 3 years. You did medical redshirt last year?
I played too many games, so I couldn't get my medical redshirt. Yeah, it was bad, man. Just missed the deadline. Yeah.
No way, huh?
Yeah, horrible news.
So
only
you only have 4 years, huh?
Yeah, just 2 more.
So going into this year, what are you like thinking about your position, where you're at right now, or where do you want to be, or where do you want to see yourself, or going into next year?
I mean, as of right now, if you were to ask me if I thought I'd be in the starting 9, I would tell you no. Like, I'd definitely be a bench guy, like in that pinch hit situation. And pitching now gives me more opportunities. So
we didn't even talk about you pitching.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
but, I mean,
man.
It's fresh. I mean, it's just pitching. Like,
no, I know, but I'll actually want to touch on that before you get into that, right?
Yeah.
So we did a little showcase kind of thing at practice, right? Where you're getting your velos, throwing velos from the outfield, like exit velos and all that.
Yeah.
And Garret throws 90 across the infield from shortstop.
Yeah,
so Coach K is like, get him on the mound.
Yeah.
Okay, it's really hard to find really good, like elite pitchers in NAIA.
Yeah.
Just because if you're pitching 90 plus, you're not playing NAIA,
yeah, no
right?
doubt.
So it's like, well, get him on the mound, right?
Yeah.
And what was your thought process of that? Did you want to pitch?
I mean, I'd thought about it before just because it would give me more of an opportunity to play.
Yeah.
Just more of something that'd be good for me. But like I told him before we did it, I was like, Coach K, I'm about to hit 91. And he goes, okay. I roll out there, 91.
91.
Second throw, 92. And he was like, dang, all right.
Dude.
So I got on the mound, and I'd pitched a little bit in high school, but
Yeah.
it was from submarine slot down low. And so I threw a couple bullpens over the top, and like my command wasn't where it needed to be. And so I told them I could throw submarine, and so they dropped me down, and turns out I'm pretty nasty. I mean, that's just like my natural arm slot. I like throwing from down low better than over the top. It feels more athletic to me, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. So it's like, that's another opportunity for you to play, right?
Correct. Yeah.
But the opposite side of that, it's what if I become into a PO?
Yeah. I mean, that was my biggest thing is I asked our grad assistant, Gabe, that played with me freshman year. I told him actually, I said, if I pitch, I'm not going to be a PO. And he's like, no. Because, I mean, hitting something I take pride in because it's really competitive and I've worked at it my entire life. And so, I mean, so pitching is just kind of like, I try to look at it as like just like a side quest kind of thing. Because then if you look at it like that, it's like, oh, I'm just getting on the mound. I'm about to strike these kids out and walk off the mound.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just kind of look at it as something you're not that worried about. And in return, you end up being good at it. Yeah. And I mean, that's my biggest focus right now is just to get up there and just have fun with it and compete. And I think that helps a lot, no doubt.
So this year for you, now that I totally forgot that you had a bullpen today.
Yeah, I did. Actually.
Yeah, how was that?
The first pitch of the bullpen was bad.
Oh, I saw you.
I saw y'all looking at me.
We saw you. Yeah. So we have a bullpen, and in the bullpen there's 2 mounds next to each other. So the 2 catchers are down here. Bro throws the fastball and nails the other catcher that he wasn't even
y'all. Of course, y'all look at the very first pitch of the pin, the worst pitch of the pin. I mean, after that, honestly, it was a great pin. I mean, I was hitting spots and stuff. I mean, breaking ball looked good, but yeah, man. I mean, it's fun, no doubt. I enjoy doing it a lot.
It's okay. Landon said that you slipped, so we'll give you the benefit. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. But yeah, going into this year. So best case scenario for you in your head right now. Yeah. What's that looking like?
Best case scenario, I'd say DH, and then at the end of the game, closing. I mean,
DH
that's like the lifestyle.
That would be a lifestyle.
I mean,
right?
You just sit in the dugout and joust with the boys, and then 8th inning rolls around, you go get loose, and then win the game.
Dude, that would actually. Yeah. I would love to
really
see
fun.
that. Let's see that.
I'm ready for it.
Get some freaking power behind you. You were smacking balls today, actually. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie.
I've been trying, man. I've been trying to focus on the whip action more, try to get the barrel head out front. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, let's go back to reverse real quick. Let's go back to what my thought process and stuff going through this year into next year.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a very meticulous thing to worry about because, I mean, you can't, like we said many times, you can't be too little, you can't be too much, and you have to find ways that works for you to help keep that in check. like I just started keeping like a calendar on my computer where I write down literally every single step of my day. That way I can manage my athletic time, schoolwork, time I spend with my friends, like just stuff like that that helps me keep in check. And I mean, on top of that, I'm a very task oriented person. Like wake up in the morning, make my bed. It gives you a little serotonin boost, get your day started. Or like some days, if I'm not feeling like I want to do anything, I'll take a cold shower. And I mean, it's something that if you do the stuff that you don't like doing, it makes you a better person. I feel like definitely mentally, because I mean, yeah, it gets tough, man. I mean, through that injury and then trying to come back and play. I mean, it's one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, honestly. I mean, with everything going on outside of baseball, I mean, it gets tough. But I mean, at the end of the day, you just got to know that in the long run, athletics is something you do for fun.
Right.
I mean, I started playing for fun. I'm going to finish playing for fun. And I mean, no matter if I have success or failure, my friends and family will always be there. And the hobbies outside of baseball will always be there. So, I mean, just go out there and have fun, man. I mean, screw the rest.
I know, really. Because that's what – I'm glad you brought that up. Because that's what a lot of – like, that's what I forget a lot of the times. It's a game.
Yeah.
You're supposed to have fun.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't have fun with it. And if you just go back to it's a game, like, oh, my gosh, this is a game, literally, until you start, getting paid for it. But until then, it's a game, right?
Yeah.
If I get paid $10 million to play baseball, then it's more than, I guess, not a game anymore. It's like it's my job, right?
I mean, if you kind of look at it, it's kind of entertainment too. I mean, if you go to a baseball game and you're on the field and you step back and just look around, fans watching you, music playing, you're on the field, everybody's watching you at one time. It's like, it's not like something that makes me nervous. It's something that's like, oh, wow, like I'm actually making these people enjoy something. Like I'm giving them something to watch. I mean, I think that's when it becomes the most fun is when you're out there with your boys and everybody watching you and they see that camaraderie come together. That's one of the best things ever.
That's what I've come to see a lot, especially, thinking last year is my last year of baseball. It's like, just like, be in the moment, like look around, have fun, stop being so hard. I'm so hard on myself. I'm like my biggest critic, right?
Me too.
After a game, I'm like, oh, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this wrong. My dad's like, dude, you didn't even play that bad, bro. But I'm just like, bro, you don't understand. Like, I gotta do this, because I know, because playing baseball, literally every little thing about the game, right? And the people outside of it don't really know that, because my dad played football, right? And he's been learning baseball because we've been playing baseball, but he never understood the game, right? So it's like I know literally every little thing about this game, and I know literally every little thing I need to fix about my game. So it's like when people tell me, "Oh, you're fine, bro," like I'm like, you don't understand, bro. I got to do this, and this next time. And it's like, oh, I can't think like that, bro.
I mean, that's what everybody sees. Everybody sees how you perform. They don't see the work that goes into it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Where it gets tough for sure, no doubt.
So next year is your last year. You have no more eligibility after next year.
Yep.
So where do you see yourself next year, going into next year?
I mean, next year or this off season after this season, I definitely need to focus more on the defensive side because that's the weakest part of my game. I'm good offensively. Pitching's good so far, but defensively, I just need to be more of an asset right now. Because next year I want to be able to play defense. But right now it's just a question mark, And I mean, there's going to be competition. There's always somebody trying to take your job. So I just need to make sure that my skill set is where it needs to be defensively. Because I think offense and pitching will always be there for me as long as I don't try to do too much with it.
Yeah. That's another, so with your skill sets, what I've learned is obviously you need to bring up your not so good aspects to about average, right? And then what you're good at, you have to hammer that stuff in, right? Because that's what's gonna make you on the field is what you're good at, not what you're bad at, right? So you get what you're okay at, bad at to a average level, right? And then you hammer in what you're good at. So you're good at hitting, you have to hammer that stuff in, right? Like with me, I have to hammer base running and defense, right? That's what keeps me on the field. I'm not on the field to hit, man. Anyway, but knowing on what to work on is another big thing, because if me playing center field, if I just focus on hitting, obviously I'm gonna get a little bit better, but how much improvement can I get in such a short amount of time, right?
Sure.
And it's like, oh, if I hammer all this center field work in, if I keep my staying healthy. If I
Yeah.
hammer that, like staying healthy is really
That's one of the biggest
like
things.
one of the biggest things,
Yeah.
especially for me. It's, can I keep myself healthy? Can I be smart on the base paths? And can I be amazing in the outfield?
Yeah.
Like those 3 things are what separates me from everyone else around me.
Yeah. No doubt.
And being able to hammer those out and being the absolute best is
Yeah.
how you stay on the field. And I think that's how you
Yeah.
stay consistent too.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Is just being the best at what you're good
Yeah.
at, you know?
If you're good at the things you're good at, I mean, that's how you be great. I mean,
Yeah.
the people that are mediocre at some things and bad at some things, those are the people that aren't as good and don't get the opportunities as other people.
Yeah,
No doubt.
I totally agree with that. So, yeah, remember that, man. Going into next year, like get your defense up and then hammer out all that, hitting, because hitting scores runs,
Yeah.
But good, I think that was a good podcast,
Yeah,
man.
for
We
sure.
talked about a lot.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got to get you on.
Yeah, me too, man. It's fun.
If you enjoyed this episode of the I Can't Do This podcast, then like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and thanks for coming, Garrett.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
See ya.